Yo, what's up, guys? OriginalTek finally getting around to modding Shearwater 125 stock pod for my kayak. We're going to be putting a 9x12 hatch inside of it so we can use that for dry storage, mainly for our soft plastic. So come on along, show you guys what I do to get it done. See you on the flip side.
So we start out by tracing the template to our pod. I used a piece of cardboard to make the template, cut a hole in the cardboard, and then trace that to the pod. I did go a little smaller to ensure that I had a nice snug fit. Starting out the actual modification by drilling a hole in each corner to make it easier to use my jigsaw. Not only does it allow me to start the cut, but it allows me to have an easier turn in the corners. A lot of this video, the audio was cut out and it was trimmed short because I was doing this live on my Twitch channel. So there was a lot of conversation going on outside of just the modifications. We were talking all kinds of stuff, fishing, fishing baits, what's going on this time of year. We were talking about the MLF tournament, talked about the NCAA tournament, all kinds of good stuff. Make sure you guys check out in the description below the link for my Twitch channel. I'm on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and most Saturdays, either fishing from the kayak or hanging out here in my fishing corner in the garage. And then on Tuesdays, I'm on a friend's channel. I'm a co-host of a community fishing talk show for all things fishing on Twitch, called Tackle Box Tuesday. It's a lot of fun. So we're going to make sure that these cuts are fairly straight. If you guys have had one of these pods, you know it's not exactly the flattest piece of material to cut. And there will be some trimming that goes on. But I've cut most of that out because, it's just kind of nonsense filler. And here we'll make our last cut. The holes really allow you to stop and start your cuts without having to try to guide the blade through the pre-cut area. So we pop it out. You can see there is a little bit of moisture inside. Here I am trimming the foam, just cutting through the foam to pull that off so that I have a nice flush mating area between the hatch and the pod plastic. There's Carolina Basco himself coming in, hanging out with me while I do this. So what I did after I got the cut and made sure that the hatch would drop in there, I just dropped it in and then traced the outside ledge of the hatch. And then went through with a knife and cut through the foam and adhesive. And then, as you see, I was able to just pull it away. The tape was actually surprisingly still sticky after about a year of use out in the sun and mud and water. And I'm going to scrape off any extra adhesive just to make sure I have the cleanest mating area between the hatch and the pod itself. That way the silicone has a nice area to dry and create a fairly waterproof connection so that we're not getting a bunch of water inside of our storage hatch. And you'll see me a little bit later. You'll see that it's cleaned off with some alcohol prior to applying the silicone and dropping the hatch in. So here I am test fitting the hatch just to make sure that it fits into the area that I cut, and it is a really good snug area. And the foam cut lined up really well, so it's a really clean look. And I'm going to grab the drill. We're going to drill our pilot holes while we have it in there for the test fit. That way we can wipe it clean when we go to apply the silicone when we put the hatch back down. So I'm using a 3/32 drill bit to do the pilot holes. I just got some sheet metal screws, some stainless steel sheet metal screws that were not self-tapping. Pilot holes, just make sure they go in at the right angle. And you can see it's a very tight fit. I pry the hatch back out. And we're applying some marine grade silicone all the way around. In this application, I put the silicone more so on the vertical sides of the hatch because it's such a tight fit when dropping it into the hole that it will kind of smear and go across to the flat areas of the lip there to ensure that we're getting as much of a waterproof connection as we can. Going through and just spooging it right along. And make sure your assistant does not get your silicone on his hand. And if he does, to wipe it off so that it doesn't get all over your workbench or all over your clothes. Surprisingly, this was a fairly straightforward install. There was a little bit of extra trimming and, sanding, filing that I had to do, but there wasn't a lot of adjustments after making the initial plan like I typically have when I'm doing some sort of modification like this. So here we are running the last bead of silicone. Wiping it off, getting our hands clean, and then we're going to do just a dab of silicone on each screw hole just to make sure we're waterproofing this situation as much as possible. Clean up your hands. Here I'm talking with my chat about who knows what, because conversations fly crazy on Twitch. So lick your finger just so the silicone doesn't stick. Wipe down. Make a nice little smear along that vertical wall right there in the corner. And it's just going to ensure that we have a nice tight connection and as waterproof as possible. You'll see here, I push down, clicks into place. There are some little ridges on the sides of this this hatch from Overton that just kind of pop into place. And we've got a nice snug fit here. And then we're going to run our sheet metal screws in. I did opt for flat bottom sheet metal screws with a round head just because it has a cleaner look inside of this the hatch holes. And they are stainless steel, so we can try to ensure as little rust in the future as possible. And there's 6 screws that go in. I'm a former mechanic. I like to alternate where I screw. I don't like to just screw it right down the line. I like to anytime I'm tightening anything down, I like to alternate just to ensure we get a flat of connection as possible. There we do a little test open on the door, and we're good to go.
So here we have our finished product. This is the stock Vibe pod for the Shearwater 125 with a 9x12 hatch bought from overton.com. Really good fit and finish on it. Plenty of storage inside. As you guys know, inside of here is hollow. But yeah, it fit real well. Just to make sure that it was as close as possible. Siliconed around, siliconed in the holes for the screws. And it is a locking unit right here. Helps if you turn it the right way. But yes, it is a locking unit. Keeps it nice and flush. And all right, guys, there you have it. That's the install for the 9x12 hatch from Overton on the stock pod for the Vibe Shearwater 125. If you guys have any questions about that, feel free to hit me up in the comments below. Come hang out with us live on Twitch, where we do all this good stuff, including this install was done live right here on my Twitch channel. Those links will be down in the description below.